Welcome to Warrior Island. I'm executive producer and creator James B. Jefferson. Thank you for joining us today.
James Jefferson, renowned martial artist, trainer of athletes, a true ronin, the embodiment of honor and respect, and the visionary behind his sports entertainment franchise, Warrior Island.
Martial arts, it's all about the lifestyle, the dedication, the commitment, the Tiki code.
Warrior Island is Jefferson's passion project, a decade in the making. The show fuses the martial artist's undying passion for the sport and his devoted ideals of the Tiki code. The series brings plenty of action, but at the forefront of it all are the martial arts values of respect, honor, and integrity.
I really love MMA because of the heart that these fighters have. When you think about it, these guys are going to step into a cage, and their opponent on the other end of the cage is going to do their level best to make them go to sleep. They're going to do their level best to make them tap out or to knock them out. That's a certain kind of person who's willing to do that, willing to get inside the cage and willing to risk it all in front of huge audiences.
With Warrior Island's first season completed and a comic book series 7 issues strong, Jefferson is truly realizing his vision. But how did this all start? How did he pave the way here? What is the story behind Jefferson's mission? PPV Flicks proudly presents The Road to Warrior Island. The road to Warrior Island began in Jefferson's youth when his passion for martial arts was just as fierce and unyielding as it is today.
I got involved in martial arts in, 10, 12 years old and fell in love with the sport at a very young age too. It's, all different forms of martial arts.
Even as a child, Jefferson towered over his peers, but he was never one for violence.
When I was younger, I was bullied a lot. I actually was a very big kid. I was 200 pounds in 5th grade. Even though I was a large child, I didn't hit a maturing growth spurt until the end of my junior year in high school. I actually grew 6 to 7 inches over the summer. Came back senior year and I was, I went from a kid in the mid-5s, something like 5'6". I was 6'2". And I went up to about 220 pounds. And even though I was a big kid, I kind of was scared of hurting people because I was so much bigger than everybody else. So I kind of hesitated not to fight.
Jefferson's weight issues and non-violent nature made him a prime target for bullying. Insults were hurled his way left and right, and yet he never laid a finger on those who demeaned him. Jefferson would soon do something about his weight gain. During his high school years, he adopted healthy habits, took on after-school sports, and worked long and hard to turn that fat into muscle.
I did powerlifting, I did football. I did football for 19 years. Bodybuilding, I threw javelin, shot, and discus. So I just was well-rounded and spent a lot of time fine-tuning my body and doing a lot of training.
Along with that, Jefferson's passion for martial arts grew even further.
And then I wanted to get involved with martial arts, with karate, after watching, obviously movies like The Karate Kid and Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. So I started in basic, the corner strip mall, karate school, but I knew there was a lot more. So I got involved in other combat sports. Like in high school, I did wrestling, and then after high school and college, I did, the Golden Gloves boxing, and then, throughout that time, I also did Muay Thai and Kung Fu, and I can never get enough.
Jefferson learned from the Grand Masters of martial arts. He trained under the likes of Ron Van Cleef, Dan Severn, Sifu Chow, Helson Gracie, Enzo Gracie, and many more. All of his martial arts training and his dedication to the sport earned him one of the greatest honors bestowed to any martial artist.
I'm a true ronin, where I don't have any one master, and I know many forms of martial arts. The original ronins would wander the land, and they would do all kinds of things. They wouldn't report to a master. They basically were warriors that traveled and did all kinds of things. There was good ronins, there was bad ronins, but they would not be subservient to one master, but they would know lots of fighting styles. While I'm not a master of anything, I am a full ronin, and I am not afraid. I am a true centurion.
From 2006 to 2010, Jefferson worked for UFC and Bellator, two major fighting leagues, as a journalistic contributor. He did press passes and media coverage for UFC and Bellator matches that aired on MTV and Spike Network. A dream come true for a devoted martial artist like Jefferson.
I really got to meet a lot of the people in charge of the UFC, like Dana White and stuff like that. Some of the great fighters, Matt Hughes and Randy Couture.
But along with that was the discovery of a startling truth.
I realized there was a real loss of traditional martial arts values in the UFC. The original UFC back in the early 90s was, no holds barred. I mean, you could have a 350-pound sumo guy going against Royce Gracie at 175 pounds. Over years, they had to refine it and have universal rules of mixed martial arts. In fact, Nick Lembo, the New Jersey commissioner, he wrote the original universal rules of MMA. So, then eventually other guys got involved, Mr. McLaren, as well as other people. No respect and no honor in these fighters today in the UFC.
Jefferson holds the traditional martial arts values of respect, honor, humility, and integrity close to his heart. They are values that not only define the sport he holds dear, but defines the rules of his own life.
So when I was doing the investigating of what I really didn't like about the UFC, I got a chance to meet Dan DeBee Severin. I got a chance to meet Ron Van Cleef. I got a chance to actually train and be trained by Helsing Gracie. And these were the originators of the UFC. So after talking to Ron Van Cleef, Helsing Gracie, Sifu Chow, I asked each one of them, what's the one thing you've learned the most in martial arts that's the most important to you? And all of them who have been in martial arts 50, 60, 70, whatever they've been in there, they all said empathy. A human being that could literally kill you in moments tells you that the most important thing they learned over decades of the sport is to care about a fellow human being.
This would culminate in perhaps the most important aspect of Warrior Island.
And that plays into the role of the Tiki Code, and what I've always said, it takes more of a man or a warrior, a woman warrior, to reach down and pick somebody off the ground than it does to knock them down. And that's what real warriors are about, following that Tiki Code.
All of Jefferson's life experiences, his training under various practices of martial arts, and his strong attachment to traditional martial arts values contributed to the creation of Warrior Island.
When I was talking to Ron Van Cleef, we sat and talked for a long time. And, I really thought back to the multiple times that I watched the movie Enter the Dragon. The concept of, a mysterious island where there's martial artists everywhere. But in that movie, the Grandmaster that invites Bruce Lee and the other martial arts there is actually evil. And since I'm a centurion of everything that's good and God, I said, let's, in my mind, flip the script. Let's do a Warrior Island, which is based on everything good and the light. And that's where it started to come together. And Ron Van Cleef explained to me, what he would feel would be important with the concept, as well as Dan Severin, Helsing Gracie, Henzo Gracie, many of these Sifu Cliff, Sifu Chow. And we just constantly, over the next few years before we launched the company in 2012, we really just cultivate the idea, get everyone's ideas and my dreams of what it would be great to have an event, a show like this.
With a plan laid out and a vision secured, James Jefferson began making Warrior Island a reality.
I'm Matt Arroyo, UFC veteran, BJJ black belt, and you're watching Warrior Island. Vote today.
Around the time the show was being planned out, Jefferson served as the president of his multinational MMA Development League Global Proving Ground from 2009 to 2016. GPG would hold numerous matches from across the globe, ranging from fierce heavyweights to ferocious lightweights. GPG was a nationally recognized fight league and wouldn't have gained the recognition without the help of an important and influential figure in the field of MMA.
My name is Jordan J. Adams, and I own a company called United Fight Alliance. United Fight Alliance syndicates, aggregates, and produces combat sports from all over the world.
Jordan J. Adams is an award-winning producer and MC whose career spans across major motion pictures, award-winning television shows, and of course thousands of mixed martial arts matches from across the globe.
The primary business would be the syndicating, distribution, and production business. So I will partner with promotions both here in the States and internationally to come in and shoot their fights. And then we take the fights and we distribute the fights to different television networks. So, we make money on the television commercials, we make money on the syndication, on the distribution.
Yeah, Jade Adams was our first commentator at the first MMA fights that we did in Branson, Missouri. He had a relationship already with one of our producers, Steve Tornabini, and Steve called him in to do the commentating, and it was fantastic.
I've known James Jefferson for a long time. We used to do Global Proving Ground together. He's one of the best promoters in the world, not just the country, but in the world. He does a lot of shows in the tri-state area, Philly, Jersey, New York, and all over the country and all over the world. So we used to carry GPG on our networks back in the day. It was called Fight Zone, and then United Fight Alliance.
Jay Adams was completely on board with the Warrior Island brand. He saw great potential in it and would not only fund the project, but serve as its primary MC.
Jordan J. Adams has been there from the very beginning. He's been there from conceptually when we first started, and he's been there on the phone with me every week discussing it. He's I like to say he's our Jeff Probst, like Survivor. He's the guy that's out there talking other than me.
In 2016, GPG ceased events operations. 2 years later, it was fully rebranded as Warrior Island.
He had this amazing idea for Warrior Island, an elimination show, where fighters compete to get onto the island and learn from the greatest masters in the world, and they try to stay on that island and be the last one. We've proven that elimination format television is successful. Think of all of the TV shows in the last 10 years, elimination format. We know martial arts is hugely successful. We think of all of the MMA shows that have exploded. Think of all of the karate shows that have exploded, the grappling shows, the boxing. Combat sports is huge. Why not put the two together? Elimination format and combat sports. Put the two together, you got two winners, synergizing, it's going to be huge.
In addition to a complete rebranding and the formation of the soon-to-be broadcasted Warrior Island TV show, a comic book series bearing the same name would take form. For the ongoing comic series, Jefferson assembled a team of talented illustrators and writers who would bring his vision into the panels. The comic books were designed to help with the increased bully issue prevalent in our schools. Jefferson, himself a target for bullying during his school years, wanted to make a positive impact on society. Through the comic stories, he instilled the sacred values of the Tiki code. He wanted to make a positive impact and remind the world of the martial arts values long forgotten. From 2016 to 2020, James Jefferson secured the footage and broadcasting rights necessary to make the first season's 15 episodes. A televised network secured the rights to broadcast all 15 first season episodes. James had his editing and production crew who would film bumpers, record voiceover, and splice all the clips together into a finished product. He even had a few music producers on board, who would compose a few original songs for the show. Everything was lining up into place. All that was left was on-location filming in Florida's Clearwater Beach. It had banks of sand, a vast ocean, and a perfect tropical backdrop. Jefferson looked for in-state cinematographers who would film the intro and outro and quick bumper segments. Jay Adams had connections to a cinematographer in the Florida area who has more than a decade of experience filming and editing MMA events and TV shows.
Give or take 19, 20 years ago. When I met up with a friend of mine, Mike Felker, him and I started a business together. We wanted to do production together. We were trying to figure out how to bring business in. So I told Mike, I said, hey, let me try going on Craigslist, put an ad together, see if we can get somebody to come to us. Mike said, oh, that's a dumb idea. Ain't nobody ever going to come to that. So I put an ad up. I think it was within 24 hours, we get a call. And this individual said that they had some footage they need to see if we could edit. So we went and met with this gentleman. His name was Jay Adams.
While Bill is currently not involved with Warrior Island, his contributions to televised MMA productions alongside Mike are not to be overlooked.
Jay was talking about us accruing commercial time for world-class multimedia. We'd be able to make a commercial. Well, we kept accruing time and we didn't really see any reason to do a commercial for the type of business we were in. So I asked Jay if we could have time to shoot our own show. And he said if we could put the sponsors together, if we could make everything come together, we do the shooting, we get everything done, he'd give us the show time. We went to work. We got a hold of Tommy Sauer, Tommy Trauma Sauer. He fought out of Ocala. God rest his soul. Tommy passed away, but Tommy was the third part of this whole cog that we had put together. So this show started evolving. Mike, getting the perfect shot every time with his camera, was constantly getting in front of the other cameras. So we all sat down and said, we got to make Mike a character in this show because he was getting in front of the camera, getting a good shot. So I came up with the idea, we could shoot reality. We would film what was going on, but you got to see what was going on behind the scenes. And all three of us ended up being characters inside of a show, a reality show based on mixed martial arts.
Mike's masterful work in cinematography and editing amazed Jay Adams. So much so that Mike was brought in to help with many of his MMA events and productions. James was searching for an in-state cinematographer. It would soon turn out James would get much more than he bargained for, and Warrior Island would truly take form.
Well, I was very fortunate when Jay Adams, the aforementioned Jay Adams, had introduced me to Mike Felker, who really saved the day for us in Tampa. It's not easy to find editors in television and movie production that also have great skill sets in internet and code and computer. It's kind of phenom.
Mike Felker would not only end up shooting his intro and outro clips with his 4K cinema cameras, but it would also end up doing the video editing, audio mixing, and composing work for the intro, outro, and the show's opener. Mike's son Scott would handle additional editing and arranging of over 20 original scores for the show's first 15 episodes.
Those guys came through like champs and really helped us out.
Well, Warrior Island is on track to be huge and meet all its goals. It's got all the people, big names are already behind it, they're already signed. So now it's just a matter of execution. And with James Jefferson at the helm, it's going to get executed.
Yeah, we're coming up, Warrior Island's coming up on its 10-year anniversary. And over the 10 years, we've probably spent close to $4 million between favors and help, loans, whatever we could do to get the project to where it is. And it's been 10 years and multi-millions of dollars. It's going to take another couple years and closer to $35 million to get it where we need it to be. And then get that money, pay back anyone that's owed money, and then use that money that's left over to make impact on the world. I'd love to build a youth center with martial arts and getting kids off the street and stuff like that. And my wife wants to build a rescue for pit bulls run by veterans. So there's going to be good impact wealth. And that's what money really means to us. We want to have impact wealth and have a positive impact on society.
Anything that's hard to do is worth doing. Anything that's scary, anything that's challenging, anything that's hard to do should be done. We should all, every single day, step out of our comfort zone and try to make mistakes, try to lose, try to make a fool of yourself. Try to make a fool of yourself every day. Because if you make a fool of yourself every day, what are you doing? You're trying new things. It's the people who hide and don't get out of their comfort zone and don't make a fool of themselves. They don't grow, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. Their world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's the people who take big gambles, they don't care what people think of them. Those are the people who eventually, you cannot be denied. You go to make 100 mistakes every single day, you cannot be denied in any of your goals.
The show, having completed its first season in late 2021, is slated for a second and third season. A major motion picture is expected to be greenlit sometime in 2022. A docu-series planned for a 2023 release will detail the development of the Warrior Island series even further. And while Jefferson had complete faith in his crew and the network that aired his show, there have been trials and tribulations. And through those tribulations, PPV Flicks was born.
I just want to say thank you to James Jefferson and everybody who's behind Warrior Island. It's an honor to be a part of the team. It's an honor to be one of their commentators. I cannot wait to see the next season. It's going to be nothing but fireworks.
When I die, hopefully many, many years from now, they're going to have, a tombstone. And on that tombstone is going to have a day I was born, March 11, 1967. And there'll be a day I die, hopefully 30, 40, 50 years from now. But everyone looks at a tombstone, they see the day they were born and the day they died, but the most important thing on that tombstone is the dash. What did that person leave as an impact in this world? So between my shows, my TV shows, my movies, and my comic books, I'm gonna leave the world the Tiki code. A way of life that you could follow, live, and be a better human being, and make this place a better place to live. A true warrior born with the abilities of a fighter, of a gladiator, of a warrior, has amazing power, strength, heart, like a lion. It needs to be used for good. Not to bully people, not to cause crime, not to do murder or rape, but to protect people. That's what martial arts started in India and Western China. Was there for small villages, someone would know a fighting style to protect the village. And that's what we need to teach everybody out there that's aggressive or has that warrior inside of them. They need to learn how to be a protector, not a perpetrator.
All of Warrior Island Season 1 is available to stream now. Season 2 is on the horizon.
Thank you for joining us today, and look forward to more Warrior Island content coming to you soon.
Hey guys, this is UFC fighter Billy Quarantello, and you're watching Warrior Island. Vote now.